Alrighty, good everybody, it's the Doga! It is once again time for another installment of the AC/DC album review series. So, we've hit 1988, 35 years ago now. 1988 was a big year. Not only was it the release of today's subject, AC/DC's album Blow Up Your Video, but it was also a big year for my family too. Not only because the Brisbane Broncos had entered the main rugby league premiership, but it was also the year that my parents got married, and just last month they celebrated their 35th wedding anniversary. Just for those who wanted to know, but then again, doesn't matter anyway. And also, we've hit 200 subscribers on the channel, so this is a double special. Anyway, 10 tracks off the Blow Up Your Video album. This saw the return of Harry Vander and George Young to the production role, which they had also partially done on the Who Made Who album. But this is the last album that they also worked on together with the band. It's also the last to feature Simon Wright on drums. He would leave the band at the end of the following year. So we open with Heatseeker, another good track. This one definitely is a good song, especially when it was performed live during the tour as well as during the Razor's Edge tour. It was the opener during the US leg of the tour, which saw Stevie Young, Malcolm and Angus's nephew, make his first appearance with the band. At that time, it was only temporarily, but it would eventually become permanent in 2015. And you've got That's the Way I Wanna Rock and Roll, another great song. Second single off the album, with Heatseeker being the first. And you've got some good cuts in the middle, like Mean Streak, which I think should have been performed live, but some of the guitar parts on that are a bit complicated, and nonetheless they're pretty good. Go Zone, of course, is the next one. Another great song, that one. This one did get a couple of live outings, and you can find some of those on YouTube. All in all, it should have stayed on a bit longer, though. And side one closes out with Kissin' Dynamite, probably not the best song on the album, but it's still pretty good nonetheless. And I know a lot of people have criticised the production and mix of this album. It is very 1980s sounding, but I tend to enjoy it nonetheless. There's still 5 songs left, my mistake. Nick of Time, which of course kicks off side 2 of the album. I like the slow building intro before it kicks into high gears. This is another one that got performed live during the tour, but was not part of the Australian leg of the tour, and neither was Go Zone. Some Sin for Nothing, another great song that also should have, in my opinion, this album definitely should have been played live in almost its entirety, at least that's what I think, and Some Sin for Nothing would have probably worked well live too. But my favourite is up next, Rough Stuff. Always liked this one, always thought it had a pretty good riff, even if the lyrics are a little cheesy. I mean, this is the last album which Brian Johnson contributed lyrics to. Starting with the next album, all the songs would be written exclusively by Malcolm and Angus, basically all the riffs and the lyrics. Two's Up is another great song, as we slowly bring the album to a close, and another underrated track in my opinion. But perhaps the true underrated track is the closer, This Means War. My opinion, this one should have definitely been played live. They could have really given this one, especially during the Razor's Edge tour, I reckon Chris Slade would have really sped the tempo up on this one, like he did in a number of songs. But that's the subject for the next video or so. All in all, I'd give this one a 7.5 out of 10, mainly due to its average sound, but I reckon it could definitely do with a much cleaner remix. But nonetheless, this is definitely an album that should not go completely under the radar, especially as this was at a time when the band slowly started to regain their popularity again. But that's it for this one. Be sure to leave a like, comment on your thoughts of this album down below, and be sure to subscribe to the Be a Good Dog YouTube channel, because there will be more content on the way eventually. But until next time, this is the Dog saying have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Thank you very much for 200 subscribers, and I shall see you again.